too far? Welcome back, Padawans, to another episode of the Jedi Mind Trick. And today, we are going to be discussing what is going on with these half-gen console launches, all right? Now, this is coming up because Paris Lily actually just posted on Twitter about how the new slim model PS5 looks. And I've got to say, I was not expecting it to be as small as it is. So let's kind of break it down a little bit here. So, we knew that they were coming out with a slim version of this console. Now, the biggest thing that was, the talk of the town for this was the fact that this is going to have a detachable disc drive. So that was what everybody was talking about. That's what I was talking about, what I was most concerned with. And I didn't look at the dimensions of this console. I knew it was going to be smaller, but I was like, all right, we'll see it when we see it, so it's fine. I just want to know really what's going on with that detachable disc drive. That's what I was more concerned with. As we now see it side by side with a current generation PlayStation 5, or the original PlayStation 5, wow, the amount of space that they have gotten to shave off, of this console is astronomical. It feels like, because when you see it side by side, that thing is night and day compared to the other one. Seeing just the image of it by itself, I was like, okay, it looks just like, it doesn't look just like it, but it does look very similar to what we already have, same form factor and everything, but man, and I will have it up here on the image somewhere on the video, but it definitely is a stark difference in size compared to what we are currently working with right now. So that is really cool, but it did beg the question for me. Are we needing this? Is a half step during the generation necessary? So I believe we saw this for the first time with the PlayStation 4 and Xbox generation last gen, where we saw them do the next step, that little half step to the current generation that we're in now. So that was with the Xbox One S, the Xbox One X, and then the PS4 Pro. Now, when those first came out, I wasn't really looking at them like, whatever, it's PS4 Pro. I was like, I already have a PS4. It works fine right now. I had the Darth Vader version of the PS4, so I was like, I don't want to get rid of that, so I don't need this PS4 Pro. And then some years went by, and I started hearing things about what the PS4 Pro can do and stuff like that, and I was like, okay, maybe it is time. Maybe it's time. If you're telling me I could play games at, close to 60 frames per second, which, again, we'll get to that. It wasn't 60 frames. It was more of like, a little bit better than 30, It had maybe like 40 to 60 on some games, but that was pretty much where it stayed around. But the fidelity of the Pro was crisp. You were getting, probably dynamic 4K, but again, with our eyes, you don't really see that it's dynamic. You know what I mean? You really see, it feels like it's 4K. So when I got that console, I actually upgraded my TV for that one as well. And that was my first foray into 4K gaming as a whole, and I really enjoyed my experience with it. So I can see why a half step is somewhat necessary in that respect, because we weren't getting 4K visuals with the current hardware back then, with the PS4 and Xbox One. And now we're able to get it here with that half step. But now it breaks the question here. What are we going to be getting extra with the PS5 Slim Edition compared to the original PS5? Now, there is also whispers that we might see a Xbox side of this, a half step for the Xbox generation. Now, they kind of did it again, though, with the Series S on the Xbox side of things, because the Series S is a half step from where we left off with Xbox, which is the Xbox One X, and then the Series X that we have now, which is the current hardware. So the Series S is not as powerful as Series X. If you're listening to me and you are heavy into games, you probably already know that, but that it is, good to say, because not everybody does know that. You know what I mean? They see that it's just a cheaper console. They might think, oh, it's just because it's only digital. No, you are losing some, CPU power in there as well, but you do get a decent gameplay out of that one. You know what I mean? Out of that console. And that is another aspect of where half steps can be a good thing. It's just a matter of, is it good for the consumer? For you and I? Is it good for us when we've already bought these consoles here, right? And now we're, 3-4 years down the road, we're about to have another iteration of this console that we've already spent, an arm and a leg to get. Is it necessary for us to get? Sorry, I thought I heard some knocking over there, which I shouldn't, because there's nobody out there. There shouldn't be, dear Lord. Anyway, that is the point. Is it going to be lucrative for us to get? And going back to Paris Lily, he did say, if you already have a PlayStation 5, there's no need to get this unless you're wanting a slimmer console. But if you love your PS5 right now as it is, you don't need to go get this. There's no point to. So that is where I kind of come into it. With these half steps, in the generation, are they super necessary, or is it something of like kind of like a cash grab? Is that something for them to just like, hey, you know what? Maybe we can sell 2 consoles to one person if we do something big. I feel like what we saw from the PS4 to the PS4 Pro, that was a decent enough jump. At least, you know, once we had it in the market, we had it on the ground level, basically, and people were starting to get their hands on it and doing videos and reviews on it and letting us know, hey, this is what you can expect when you jump to the Pro side of things. That I have not really gotten from... Okay, see, I am hearing something. We're going to continue this, and I'm going to have to go check out to see what that is. But, so I just don't understand where we're going with this. Is this going to be something that we see every year? Is it going to be something that happens, you know, not every year, but every generation? Are we going to see a half step from the current generation that we're in, and then the next generation that we're going to, like we see with the Series S and the Series X? That I don't know. I will say, though, it seems like after the PS4 generation, when we had those, the Pro and the One X, it seems like this is something that is going to be the norm. At least until these companies decide that they want to maybe potentially stop doing consoles, because that is also something that I think about every day. You know, not every day, I'm not, you know, that's ridiculous. But I do think about it often. I'm like, okay, are we gonna have more consoles? Because it does seem like the gaming market is moving more towards a digital marketplace. And if that is the case, I could potentially see us not having consoles. Now, next generation, is that gonna happen? No, I don't think that. I definitely think we're getting consoles from both of these, Microsoft and and Sony. I think they're both going to be having consoles for the 10th generation. But past then, we're talking like 10 years down the road here. I can't really say that I feel confident that we're going to see a PS7 or an Xbox, whatever they decide to call it then, you know? I really feel like next generation, that could be the last of it. So if that's the last of the consoles, then potentially this little half step that we see with the PS5 Slim and whatever the Xbox decides to do with their half step console, I feel like this could potentially be the last one. If not, next generation also, if they decide to do consoles, which again, I 100% feel and believe in my heart that they are going to. But after that, I don't know. I don't really know. But guys, that's all I've got for you. I wanted to get in here, kind of discuss my feelings for these half-generation consoles and what they do for us, if it's something that is necessary for us. And again, in some cases it is, but in other cases, not so much. And that's going to be up to you to kind of decide. You have to listen to these reviewers who get these consoles in hand and are letting you know the different specs, showing you gameplay for them, and really make that decision for yourself, especially if you already have one of these consoles, one of the original ones, out the gate, you know? If you don't, and you're still looking to get one, this is a perfect option for you. So do not think that this is not something that you should get. I'm just talking to the people who already have one of these consoles in their apartments already, or in their houses right now. I said apartment because I live in an apartment. Don't you follow me or at me, okay? That's what I'm saying. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. As always, I have been your host, Jedi Master Ren, and I will see you next time in the halls of the Jedi Gaming Academy. May the Force be with you.